one of the greatest players to ever, in my opinion, in the world, Mr. Charlie Ward. We want to give a great welcome. And welcome, Coach. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you doing these days?
Man, doing well, doing well. Just taking it one day at a time. Uh, man, had some little mishaps, but I think that's what make us better. um,
Yep.
um, we want to get started. We got a lot of things going on with uh, in sports in the world, but a lot of viewers, especially a lot of people from this generation. I got a chance to get to know you. You were somebody that I looked up to when I played my sports and my journey. Um, can you just educate some of those people that might not know? In my opinion, you're the first uh, pace setter for guys like Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick. Um, introduce yourself. Who are you for those that might not know? What's your story? Uh, and how did you get to where you are right now?
Well, that's a long story, but try to make it short. Well, I'm from Thomasville, Georgia, and I got an opportunity to go to college at Florida State, where I was able to play two sports, football and basketball, and also get my degree from Florida State. And while at Florida State, I was blessed to be able to play on some great teams. We were afforded an opportunity to play in the national championship game, and we won it. And being the quarterback on uh, a highly ranked team, you get a lot of recognition. And so I was blessed to be able to have quite a few opportunities to win individual awards, um, mainly one being the Heisman Trophy, which is going to be named today as well.
Yes,
And
sir.
but my hero was Doug Williams, who a lot of times we emulate people that we either play like, um, or we have similarities in a lot of ways. Well, Doug was a guy who was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and so he was my hero because he was the first black quarterback. And at Florida State, that was my goal because they had never had a black quarterback, and that was one of my goals was to be the first black. And I achieved that goal when I was given the opportunity to play my junior year, which was my uh, fourth year in college. And uh, that, a lot of people, compared me to a lot of quarterbacks who were runners, but I was
Mhm.
not a runner. I used my legs to get me out of trouble or to make plays whenever we needed it. But I would prefer to pass it more than I did run it. So you didn't see a lot of quarterback run game during my time at Florida State. I ran from the pocket, which is a little different than what you probably see today with some of the quarterbacks, where they're they're running counters and those types of things. We did a little bit of that, but not as much as they're doing today. And then I was afforded opportunity after uh, my college days to be chosen to in the first round to play in the NBA for the New York Knicks, and I played 11 seasons, with nine and a half of those seasons with the Knicks, and a half a season with the Spurs, and 1 year with the Rockets before I got into coaching in the NBA. Got coached for 2 years with the Rockets and got out of the NBA lifestyle and got into high school coaching, which that's where we met. I was coaching at Westbury Christian, coaching the football team there for about 4.5 years or so, 5 years, before I moved on to Booker T, Pensacola, Pensacola, Booker T, Washington, and Pensacola, Florida, for 4 years, and I'm currently the head boys basketball coach at Florida State University School, um, and that's where we are today. I've been here for this is my fifth season that we're in right now.
Coach, with that unique uh, ability to play two sports, or I'm sorry, three sports. Can you talk a little bit about that? What was your mindset about being able to play all three of those sports? Because um, especially nowadays, where you guys, a lot of kids, they focus on just one sport. They do a lot of training. What was your thought process in playing the diversity of playing football, basketball, and also baseball?
Well, to to me, God blessed me with a great gift, hand-eye coordination, and so sports came easy in the sense of just I could pick it up really quickly, and and of course you have to perfect it by doing it over and over and over again, which that's what I enjoy doing. So playing multiple sports was something that was it wasn't a big chore for me. Not going to school,
Mm,
that was the biggest chore because I had to work at that part really hard. But when it came down to athletics, it was something that I just naturally did and wanted to do, and I made time for it. And so uh, when it came time for me to play multiple sports as a youngster, it just happened, right? From baseball to football to basketball, and I did it so long that it became what I did, and that was just part of the deal. And so it wasn't a big issue in college. A lot of people are like, well, how did you manage it? Well,
mm,
if you enjoy something, it's not a big issue when it's time to go back and forth. You just have to make sure you take care of your body. And academically, I had people helping me to make sure that my grades were in order as well. I had to put the time in and make sure that was happening as well.
mm.
But playing multiple sports is something I just enjoy doing.
Coach, with it seems like nowadays with it seems like I don't want to say y'all were the inventors of the fast break offense, but that's what the feeling that I had with how y'all. It was like y'all were playing basketball on grass. Can you talk a little bit about that with just the offenses being so complex with people passing the football in the NFL as well as colleges are even evolving to where they're quite throwing the ball. I believe y'all ran the ball as well with Ward Dunn and others, but just educate us on y'all being the pace setters for the offensive scheme that Florida State ran back then and now.
Well, actually, yeah. Well, actually, my junior year, we completely changed the offense at Florida State. We completely changed the offense to better serve the athletes that we had. And one of the teams that they went and scouted that summer, I think it was, or that spring, was the Buffalo Bills, because at that time, Jim Kelly, they were running a up-tempo type of offense, and so our offense evolved over the course of that season, my junior year. Uh, Early on, we were doing some one back, uh, one tight end, three wide receivers, four wides. We were doing a little bit of that, but we were mixing in some of the old things that we did, two backs, I formation. So we were mixing and mingling a little bit. And it wasn't until the Georgia Tech game that
Mm-hmm.
we had to go at a faster pace. And because we were down like 17 points or something in the fourth quarter, and we had to push the pace, and we got into our 2 minute offense, which was a hurry up offense. And we had success in the fourth quarter. We ended up coming back and winning that game. And that's when we kind of started. the birth of making our 2 minute offense our main offense, and it started to evolve over the course of the rest of the season, and the tempo picked up a little bit on both ends, and passing was a little bit of part of it, but it wasn't a whole
Mhm.
deal. Like you mentioned, we did have Sean Jackson, William Floyd, Warwick Dunn, Marcus Smith, Maurice Smith, and
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Marquez Smith, who was in the mix, and so we we had a balanced attack when it was all said and done. But we did throw it around a little bit more later on in that season to help us, go on. And we lost to Miami that
Mhm.
season, but we were able to run the table the rest of the year, and it gave us a boost going into my senior year, where we again mixed the offense up a little bit. Wasn't all just throwing the football, getting in four wides. We mixed up the offense with some two backs, uh, tight end, as well. So it evolved over that season also.
Man, do you feel like um, nowadays with how has transfer portal, uh, NIL affected? Would you say it's affected the college football? Did y'all have NIL back then? Did they have the transfer portal back then? How what's your take on it?
No, we didn't have NIL or transfer portal. I wish NIL, especially. Um,
Yes, sir.
but it was what it was. People um, use your name, image, and likeness uh, to benefit you, but I also got benefited from because I met a lot of different people, whether it was in business, whether it was boosters, throughout that time, to be able to help catapult me once I got out of college. So,
Mm-hmm.
some of those things that we didn't have access to, um,
Mm-hmm.
we were able to help support. Did a lot of PBAs um, for organizations. We couldn't get paid personally, but we were able to kind of foundationally, start helping in that area of getting some experience in doing public service announcements or doing commercials. And so it's just a different focus now where you can receive, wages for your time, to be able to either start a foundation like a lot of players are doing and be able to give back to your teammates, like a lot of players are doing, or to your family. So it definitely helps with move the needle in a sense. It definitely is catching up with the times. During our time, if you were doing anything that they're doing today, it was illegal. Like, guys,
Yeah.
Reggie Bush, you know, losing his
Yeah.
Heisman because of something that's going on today that's not illegal. And so that is just times we're in. And I wish NIL was a thing during our time, but
Yeah.
it wasn't, and we had to play by certain rules, and that's just life. Um, Transfer portal, I definitely didn't have a transfer portal. You could transfer if you wanted, but there's a consequence for it. You have to sit out a year if you chose to go to a different school. And of course, in our day and age, that's not the case. You can transfer, seems like as many times you want now, with no consequence or penalty, regardless of when you transfer. I think they've tried to put some rules in place for that, but it's definitely helped in parity, um, when it comes to parity in the NCAA, uh, whether it's football, basketball, or any sport. You know that you're able to get a seasoned veteran that may want to either move back closer to home or new destination, whatever it may be. They have an opportunity to do that. And teams are, you know, really over, overnight
Oh yeah.
becoming a powerhouse or being able to compete at a high level because they're able to do that. A la Florida State. Um, you know,
Yes.
Coach Norville has done a great job here at Florida State of um, getting the roster, remaking the roster to where he can compete right away. And then you need some of the guys, some of the younger guys to develop. And sometimes when younger guys aren't ready to step in, you can bring in a veteran guy to do that until that young guy is ready. But the tough part about it is there has to be um, some give and take because the young guys aren't sticking around now, especially
Yeah.
if they feel like they're ready to play. They're just not sticking around, waiting for their time, even though they may not be ready to contribute the way that they feel like they are.
And what do you think of with the Heisman coming up today? A young man like Bryce Young, who won the Heisman last year, he's up for the NFL draft this season to be slated to be a top five pick or top three pick overall. Have you got a chance to watch him any? If so, his him winning the Heisman last year, did you get a chance to meet him? And if so, what did you think of him?
Yes, I passed across a couple times since he's won the Heisman, and I've gotten an opportunity to befriend him or get the chance to know him, and and his family. Mom and dad
Mm,
are great people. We were in the Heisman House commercials together this year, so I got a chance to meet them and get a chance to know them a little bit better. And they're a great family. And
yes, sir.
I'm just happy for him because I sit and watch him, and he's a very small guy. He's smaller than I am, but he's very dynamic. And
Yeah.
and the one thing that um, I've always talked about is the NFL gets so enamored with certain types. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to be 6'3", 6'2", 200 pounds or whatever it may be in order to be successful. But when you turn on the tape, the man's making great decisions. His ball placement is off the charts, and he makes plays for a winning team. And
Yeah.
so somebody should be able to see that part of it as opposed to how big his hands are, how how big he is, will he be able to hold up? I mean, all those things we don't know, but what we do
Mm-hmm.
know is the man ball placement on the run is off the charts. His decision making is very good. And so those are the things and qualities I think we should start looking at more as opposed to how big someone is and arm strength and all that kind of carrying on. That I mean
Yeah.
that's okay, but that shouldn't be like the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, that's so true. A lot of times it seems like the guys that turn on the tape that can flat play, and they can play, but measurables are always seem like there's a question here or a question there, and I kind of just never understood it, just especially now on the side of watching it now, watching the game. I can identify a guy that can play, and then for whatever reason, there's the difference of opinion or scouts and whatever uh, their their judge is. It seems like that's not being put into an order. It's just all about the measurables sometimes for some teams. And you yourself, did you feel like that played a pivotal role as far as you making the decision to play in the NBA as opposed to going to the NFL?
Well, yes, it played a part in me
Mhm.
not being drafted or chosen to have a job in the NFL for sure. But just like we have to learn, we have to move. We have to
Yeah,
continue to give ourselves opportunities, regardless of what people may say, because if
Walk us
you
through
dwell on it.
how can you
Go
walk us through how at that time when okay you win the Heisman, boom, automatic thought is hey I'm going to the pros, or you leave from winning the Heisman to now you're going into basketball your last year. Did you how big was your year that year for you to end up making it to the NBA, or what how did you end up in the NBA?
well, after the football season, I went and played basketball, which is my senior year in basketball. And I wasn't going to forfeit my senior year as a basketball player for the NFL draft because I knew going in that I was going to be a third or fourth round pick anyway, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
what I did in the NFL combine or whatever, um, because of my height, arm strength, and those types of things. And um, I chose to go and play basketball so I could give myself an option uh, to play in the NBA if that was God's plan. And I finished out my senior year in basketball. Once that happened, I started training mainly for basketball because I was behind in that sport and I was double dipping again, meaning I was working out for football, doing going out and throwing with some of the guys as we prepared for our pro day on campus. And when pro day came, I was in basketball shape. So uh, when I stepped on the scale, I was 5'11 and a quarter, and I was 180 pounds or 82 pounds or so. And as you know, that is not NFL quarterback worthy, especially for a high draft pick. And after that segment, I went out and threw, did all the necessary things they asked me to do. But they came back that I was, my arm strength, my size wouldn't afford me the opportunity to be a first round pick, maybe third or fourth round, as they mentioned. And I just made a decision that if I didn't get drafted in the first round, that I would consider my other options. And that's that's what happened. Um, and no NFL team decided to make me a first round pick, and no one decided to offer me a job, which was part of my prayers because I didn't want to have to choose.
Yes,
And
sir.
I asked God to close the door and open the door, and He closed the NFL door. And when that happened, I put all my time and energy into preparing for the NBA draft and went through all the combines and workouts that I needed to do. And I was grateful that the New York Knicks saw enough in me to be able to draft me in the first round and give me an opportunity.
Man, that's when you were in that moment where was it you remember exactly who you were playing against when you were doing your workout? What did the workout just go so good? They say, "Hey, man, who was this guy?" Or you were you already kind of on their radar?
Well, I was already on the radar. I mean, just because I was a Heisman Trophy winner. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, that was so I was on the radar. And they knew my bio as far as when I started going to the team workouts. I had played in combines, two combines, one in Phoenix and one in Chicago. So they had seen me there as well before I came to the individual workouts. But when I was in Orlando, I got an opportunity to play against Penny Hardaway while I was there. And so, I mean, it was, I'm a competitor and
Yeah.
had a good session or a decent session against him. Wasn't like he was dominating me. So, um, so they knew I had great upside. Orlando would have chosen me if the New York Knicks would. It was like one pick apart. So, but I
Wow.
was grateful that I got a chance to go to New York.
in your NBA journey, what would say some of your most memorable battles you playing for the Knicks? I know they had some good rivalries with different teams. Can you share what was your highlight of your NBA career, your best game, or most memorable moment?
Well, I had a lot of great memories while playing with the Knicks. Um, starting in summer league where hit a game-winning shot. I'm not sure who it was against, but you're always excited about hitting a game winner.
Yes, sir.
Um, I learned a lot from a lot of veterans, Derek Harper, Herb Williams, Buck Williams, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, um, Doc Rivers. I had all those guys as vets at some point. So I learned a lot from those guys as I while I was maturing and growing as a young player in the NBA. And one of my most memorable games was on Mother's Day against Miami Heat, where I had like 9 points in the fourth quarter to help us win the game. And it was Mother's Day, and our son Caleb, our oldest son, who just graduated yesterday, was a baby, was just born on that day. So that was in February, and this game was in May. So it was a memorable moment because that was his first game, and I had a great game. So that will always be one of my highlights.
Well, that's amazing. That you're such a big family guy. And I got a chance to meet your son and your wife, and uh, just the ability to continue to, no matter what the times are, you still believe in those standards, and just can you share a little bit about where that comes from, and with this day and age, it's an awesome value, especially for young people and people that to let them know there's still hope that hey, marriage is not all bad. And I'm not saying you don't have your ups and downs, but uh, where does that come from, and what advice would you give young people or people in general?
Well, I was blessed to be able to have both of my parents growing up. So they were great role models and examples of, you know, what it looks like to be married and stay committed. Um, and my dad was a coach, so our relationship was, you know, go to games for me, just to be able to hang around him, riding in the cars where I saw him take kids, guys home after games. How he was a father figure to not just our family, my siblings and myself, but all those that he coached. And he still found time, for us to do different things, whether it was going on vacations and other things that we did as a family. We supported one another in our endeavors, whatever it was that we were doing, band concert, dance recitals, um, games, whatever it was, we supported one another, which is something that is big. So my parents were great role models for me, and Tanja's parents the same way. So we grew up in the same household, so our values are very similar in a lot of ways, and so that helps with the dynamic, being equally yoked in that area of wanting to spend time with the family and making time, even though you may be busy, but making time to let's say quality time, because sometimes you don't have a whole bunch of time, but the quality time that you spend uh, needs to be there, and so that plays a big part in the family dynamic, as we all know, to be able to stay together.
How'd you all meet?
Where our families are friends, and we kept in touch over the years because her mom and dad used to work in Thomasville, where I'm from, and my mom and dad, they were friends, and Tom's parents moved away to Atlanta, moved back to Atlanta, and we kept in touch over the years, and so we kind of knew each other when we decided that it was time to get serious.
And Florida State's had so many just great athletes that have come out of there. Um, you yourself just being one of the, I always put you up there with as one of the greatest with you, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. Just y'all being able to play multiple sports. You actually encouraged me to want to play two sports back when I was younger. When I saw you playing basketball, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna play both too." I played basketball and football, and just Deion Sanders. Have you got a chance to see what he got a chance to do at Jackson State, and then him going on to Colorado? What's your take on the things that he's doing? It just seems like Florida State just breeds has a great foundation of guys. Uh, uh, what do you think about what he's doing?
Of course, it all stems back to Coach Bowden and his leadership and the effect
Yes,
that he
sir.
had on all of us, not just him individually, but the people he placed around him as well, to help us become, um, the men that we are today, especially during our days in college. And Dion is Dion. I mean, he hasn't changed much from his college days to his pro days to him coaching high school and in Texas, uh, Jackson State, and now in Colorado. And he's been highly productive, you know, in all of his endeavors. And of course, he's had some things, some times where he had to persevere through tough times, and I think that's helped him become the type of man that he is today. You see him with his kids, and how he has fun with them, but he also helps them, understand that there are challenges that's going to come before you, and he understands his kids because he's around them a lot. Um,
Yes, indeed.
and he's a guy that gets a lot of attention, and he helps a lot of people. I think that's the thing that goes unnoticed sometimes when you start talking about Coach Prime. I think about
Yes,
all the people he's helped, all the kids that he's helped develop over the years, and
yes,
very few people talk about that aspect. And him going to Colorado just gives him more resources to be able to help more kids. And so I think it's a positive thing. We went to Jackson State and helped resurrect that school in a lot of ways. He helped build a lot of facilities. Of course, the you know people know you know Jackson State, at least for football. They dominated football for the past 2 years. But that's what he said, when he got there. He
yeah,
knows, I mean, he talks a big game, but he knows what he wants to do. And he backs it up with his action. He places people around him that's going to help him, get people to the next level. And he's a go-getter. I mean, he's Deion
yes,
Sanders. Like who's gonna turn him down? Like in a sense, because of who he is and the way he handles his business. And he's not no nonsense, but he's also funny.
yeah, yeah, yes, indeed. Yes. Uh, what would you say? This is just people just getting to know you. Do you have a favorite movie? Uh, and do you have a favorite food?
Movie?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
there a
I
favorite
have a
movie
favorite
that?
movie. Yes, if you're interested in like documentaries, yeah, a
Oh yeah,
documentary
yeah.
just came out. Twice as nice, so you should check it out. It's on
Okay.
ACC
Oh,
network. So
okay.
hopefully you have the ACC network, but twice as nice. It was a nice documentary.
Okay. Okay.
And
Um,
I'm
what
a
about
plant-based
food?
eater. I'm a
Okay.
plant-based eater, so anything that's made from plants uh, is good for me.
Okay. What?
Fruits and vegetables, uh, any type of nuts.
Yes, indeed. What? What would you say? Uh, is your favorite book? And you are you a published author yourself? If so, can you educate people on where they can find your book and what it's about?
Was the book that John Finkel wrote
Hmm.
on me. It's called The Athlete, and you can purchase it on Amazon.
Hmm.
Go on Amazon or charlieWard.org. Um, and so hopefully that's my life story. And he did a great job of capturing a lot of memories and moments from my childhood days, or from my parents meeting to my childhood days, uh, to college and my professional career. And so it was well done. And it's a great read. It's an easy read. Chapters aren't very long, so it's an easy read.
Yes, indeed. I want to thank you for being a part of our podcast, our first episode. We hope we strive to get better. Uh, well, and oh, last but not least, you being a coach, where where can people check on your players and just check on what you're doing in the coaching world down in Florida? Where can they go to check those things out?
Well, we're on YouTube.
Mhm.
FSUS Athletics has a YouTube channel, and FSUS Basketball. We're on Twitter and Instagram, I do believe. So that's where a lot of our footage and about our players you can find information on. So we've been blessed to be able to have some guys go to college to play basketball, and we'll have a few more over the course of the next few years. So have a solid team. You know, we were blessed to be able to win a state championship last year, and so now we're just working to get back there to have another chance this year.
Yes, sir. That's awesome. That's awesome. Uh, Thank you for tuning in to the Mix Report, and you have a great evening. Well, Lord,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for
My
letting
pleasure.
us interview you. And always good to hear from you. Yes, indeed.
Same here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll call you on my phone.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.